Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM21. This is Zero to Hero. It's episode number 9. We're into our 4th youth intake. Kind of the first time we can diversify a bit in maybe not accepting everyone. But there's actually a good chance that we're still going to have to take everyone because player after player after player has been poached away from us over the last 3 seasons to where the reality is we only have a little over 2 intakes worth of players left. We've lost nearly 1 full intake over 3.5 seasons. We're going to need a lot of these guys. And in the background is our youth intake. And you can see there's one okay player. And then it starts dropping off pretty quick. So for the 3rd time in a row, our intake has been a little bit lackluster. Here's the reason why. The first intake was pretty good, and we haven't been able to get anything since then. That first season, we lacked coaching staff. And even though I didn't have a reputation, we were able to have a generic youth intake that took our facilities into account, first and foremost, and we ended up with a ton of really good, high-potential players with current ability relatively high, and we've been riding that wave for quite a while. But one by one, we're losing those guys to big offers. At the rate we've been going, we can't replace them at all. We've added depth, but we haven't really added the quality of those players. We're losing at a rate faster than we're gaining them as we're going, meaning while we're cruising through these lower divisions, at some point we're likely to stall out. The problem is the way that youth intake is structured, and through careful experimentation and work done by some others, I've pieced together over the last couple of years what goes into youth intake. A lot of this is thanks to Zealand, by the way, great YouTuber, much better than myself in FM content. So I'll give them a nod first and foremost. But continuing on, here is the order of operations when it comes to youth intake. Club reputation. Well, we don't have none, but we don't have much, and so actually that really hurts. Manager reputation. Had none, have some now, still don't have much. That really hurts. No wonder we're not getting the best players coming in. Youth rating with nation effect to balance that. Okay, that we're top notch. Head of youth development. I don't have one. Then it defaults down to your assistant coach. Here's Neville Colley, our assistant coach, who we picked up when we had no reputation. This is something that is absolutely destroying us, because here's the important components of your head of youth development or your assistant coach in the absence of a head of youth development. Their reputation, I can tell you, has not generated much of a reputation at this point. Judging potential ability, 3. Personality, that's hidden. We don't know what his personality is. Tactical style, it's not showing up on this screen. We could find that if we look further. But that determines kind of what style of players you're going to bring in. Scouting knowledge. Again, we don't have that showing on this screen. Won't bother with that one. Working with youngsters. Okay, he's got a 10. Determination, a 5. Discipline, 8. Motivation, a 7. But he's got, especially that judging player ability, which is right there at the top of the list, yet not good. Not good. Reputation, definitely not good. But that was also the problem. As the club doesn't have a reputation, my assistant coach and or head of youth development, they don't have much of a reputation, which is why we ended up with an assistant coach who was utter garbage. I remember when we first signed him, I was still pretty much straight ones across the board, so he was better than I was. I have outdeveloped him now. It is time to find a replacement. By the way, there's still a couple things left on the list for youth intake. You have your youth recruitment and your junior coaching. That is all top notch for us. So we have advantages, but we have disadvantages. Right now, the disadvantages are massively outweighing the advantages to an extent, right? The players we're bringing in are still significantly better than the other teams in the leagues that we've been playing in over the last few seasons. We're outpacing them. We're outgrowing them. We're continuing to climb. But we're not bringing in the players that we brought in the first youth intake. And that, we had no reputation, right? That was already there. That is that head of youth development piece that took a step back when we were able to hire that guy. So let's see if we can step that up. And next season, hopefully, we'll get a better class of player coming in. We need somebody with some tactical style that's consistent with the team. We need somebody with some judge potential ability. And then after that, we need whatever the best we can get, because right now, he's not good enough. So we will attend our game, our U18s, which have been absolutely gutted this season. There's only about 6 of them left. And those were her players with some decent ability. Now, a few of them have ended up on the senior squad, but we did have quite a few players go away from us this season. You can see the list now. I've brought back 6 and said, no, I don't think so. And of course, 3 of those are big money gains. And almost all of this was over the summer. But even since the summer, we've had a few more go away. But that's a lot of players that just keep getting taken. And most of them are just going to other U18 squads with bigger clubs, higher divisions. But it's the free transfers that, as I've already mentioned, it just drives me nuts. It really drives me nuts. I'm going to go ahead and take a moment. I will sign all of these guys because I was hoping that this was the season where I could start picking and choosing and leaving out the worst. But because of how gutted we've been, there just isn't enough players in our system to justify leaving a few of these guys out. So we're going to take them all one last time. Even if we lose another 6-8 players again this next season, that still only leaves about 6 to 8 to fill, as that'll be roughly half. So next season, we'll be able to dismiss a few of the players. So looking forward to that opportunity. Also hoping that next season, with a new assistant coach and or head of youth development, and I'll look into what's the better I can find, or even both in that matter, as I do have the ability to hire both of those positions, or at least I think I do in my staff. That should have a little bit of an impact, and we should see something a little stronger than this group next time. Simpson is the top player coming in. Left back and or center back. It looks like he is center back first and foremost. Good technique, aggressive, brave, good decisions, good determination, jumping reach, balance. Yeah, that says center back. Marking and tackling needs some work. Pace is atrocious, but at least he can accelerate. Definitely looks like a center back on paper. First touch, crossing aren't the worst, so I could see him playing left back at a pinch, but we could definitely see where he's more likely to belong. Credibility, that's not fantastic, but that is probably better than everything outside of that initial core or just inside that secondary core. So he's got a decent chance of going straight to the senior squad, but looks like might be the only player capable of that. Anyway, I'm going to do some off-camera work here, and then we're going to play that youth game, and then I'll give you an update on where we're at on the coach situation. Never mind the youth game. I don't want to see an ugly mess. They're going to get trounced. This is our worst youth intake by miles. Here in the gray are the youth players. You can see there's only 6 remaining U18 players. That's how far that team has diminished in size over the course of this season, with the players that are either been pushed up to senior squad or taken away via free transfer. Odell remains. Sam Thomas looks ready now for senior level competition as 67. He's developed very well over the course of last season. Barbados probably could go up as well at a 58 now. There's your charmer, your leader, the best kid in the bunch, Steven Simpson. Comes in capable, 57. That's not a bad rating, but a 118 potential is by far the lowest we've had in our 4 intakes. Only player anywhere near a 100 potential, and that's somebody who won't even see, like, say, League 2 soccer at best. A 118, that's quite low. So, ouch. Never mind the game. A, I don't have the U18s for it. B, because of our schedule, the game was pushed to be like 6 days out, and I did my immediate sign everybody. So there is no youth candidates team anymore. They're all just on the U18s. They've already transferred over before the game was scheduled to play, so the game wouldn't happen properly anyway. With that, let's just go forward. In terms of the mix, I got a couple guys, looks like, that are ready for some senior squad stuff. I mean, you can see 60s, 50s. That puts them in the mix. That very much puts them in the mix. So we're going to bring a few players up to the senior squad. We're going to reshuffle a little bit here. I'll do that work off camera. But the big thing, and what you're going to see next, is a coaching change. We are absolutely ready to make an upgrade to our coaching staff because we need it. We really, really, really need it for the intake, if nothing else. I want to see these players develop as well, and that's easier said than done with such poor coaching. Speaking of such poor coaching, I'm still poor, but I'm getting better. Slowly. Remember, I've only done a single license upgrade, but every summer the club keeps denying my request to go on courses. I've developed as a coach, getting better. Long ways to go, though. My knowledge, player knowledge, youngster knowledge, doesn't note knowledge of potential. And that's where it comes down to that assistant or the head of youth development. And I need to bring a better one in. So I'm on to that task now. And I'll see you back when we have some candidates ready to go. While a park the bus 442 is not what I really want in a head of youth development, the attributes are astounding for a minimal rep, which, by the way, I checked rep first. I can't get literally any head of youth development candidate outside of minimal rep. So not a single candidate beyond minimal rep is interested. We're just too low. We're going to have to build up our club rep before we can get better than that. That being said, attribute-wise, this is quite strong. Player potential, 13. Player ability, 9. Working with youngsters, 14. Determination, discipline, motivating, all very, very good. England, knowledge, very good. Personality, balanced. So outside of the park the bus BS, this is a very strong candidate for us comparatively to what we have. So we're going to give it a go. I really hope we can afford this guy and he is on our interested type list when we cut that down. So let's approach to sign. And yes, we can make a deal. We can make a deal. Good. We want head of youth development. It's only a 3-month contract. It's for this year. We'll have to make sure we get him re-signed. And I'm going to go straight to finalized deal. I'm not worried about trying to pay him less. There you go. We got a head of youth development and a massive upgrade from what we had. So here's to next year's youth intake, and let's see what type of difference that makes. Of course, we're going to have a year further of developing our club reputation and all of that as well, but I think this could have a significant impact. And by the way, it's probably not a bad idea to also look to replace that assistant manager who is beyond garbage anyway, and not just add a head of youth development. Maybe the pair of them will help us out as a whole. With 7 matches still to go in the season, second place team has 6 matches to go. We have a 16-point lead right now. We've already guaranteed a playoff position, but a chance for automatic promotion via winning the league is possible in this next match. Now, we skipped our U18s match, so let's go ahead and do a senior squad. But we've got a little bit of a problem as we go into this senior squad match. For one, we are slowly and finally starting to develop some relationships. It's taken a few years to get to that point. Main reason, I think, largely had to do with the youth and the coaching that we had. But we're making some progress there. But you can see a whole bunch of guys are traveling. 9 in all from the squad. Not just senior squad, but from the entire Youth Factory team. 9 players to international call-ups, youth call-ups. We're the only team in the league facing that sort of scenario, and the game has not been postponed as a result. So we're going to have to play this out with a very limited squad. So speaking of, we need to, for next match only, I love that you have this, we need to put together a squad capable of doing something. Looks like Caldwell's going to have to be my guy, but let's see if we can drop that U18 filter on us. And Odell is on international duty as well, so yes, we're going to have no choice but to bring in a random reserve for goalkeeper, as Hoey and Odell are out. Luckily, Aspinall did not. Now, I know that Manchester United is both the most revered club worldwide and the most hated club worldwide at the same time. That happens. I'm somebody who grew up in the U.S. where we didn't get coverage of any quality soccer or football, as most people call it. No title would be ours if we managed to win. You don't say that. Let's see. Show me what you can do to keep our run going. And yes, quite a few are motivated by that. All right, so as this game plays, no commentary for a second, just discussion as it plays out. Anyway, so Manchester United fan. Reason being, I grew up playing soccer and really enjoyed it, loved it, played way above my personal level. I was a 12-year-old playing U15, U16 level. All of my teammates, with the exception of one who was my age and similarly good, and he and I were quite close friends as a result, all of my teammates were in high school, where I was still 6th and then 7th grader playing with this team. And I was one of the top players on the team. The other one, my age, was good enough to be on the team, but he wasn't quite up to what my level was. Now, this was way back in the day. I'm not exactly young now. Not terribly old. A lot of people laugh when I say that I'm old. And then others go, yeah, that's old. It depends on your age
on whether you consider me old or not, but I'm certainly not young. Well, let's just go with that. 38. Now, nice chance there. That was close. Side net. I was a good player for my age. Unfortunately, I eventually hit an age where my friends influenced me to the point. Wow, that was also close. This is Belper. They've been second all season long, but they slipped to third mid-season. They're still third now. Another chance. Aspinall, great save. Anyway, I hit an age where all my friends were playing American football, tackle football. And so I joined. I actually was pretty dang good at that too, but it was way too small to play high school football. And so my parents always had this one sport per season rule. I played sports year round, many various sports. Baseball was actually my biggest thing growing up, but soccer was definitely right up there. And quality in America is not what it is in other parts of the world, but I was pretty dang good when I was a kid. But I didn't stick with it because all my friends were playing tackle football because that was the American thing to do. And, straight red for Adam Elliott. You got to be kidding me. Wow. Really? Slight injury. Can shake it off. He's aggressive. And all of a sudden we're down a man. Oh, you got to be kidding me. I don't even have a left back to replace him. That's a huge hole. I do have Simpson, actually. Simpson. Let's... No. Can we get a proper tactics screen here? Okay, that works. And then we're going to need a center back for who? Who is going to make way? We're not going to control the ball as well. This is going to get really difficult. Wow, seriously, what is this ref got against us? He immediately calls us for another foul on the follow-up play on a simple clearance. Their guy just takes it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This ref is headhunting us. Anyway, I got out of the sport because my age group, because my friends, they weren't into it. It wasn't the hip thing to do. It wasn't the popular thing to do. And I hate myself for doing the popular thing. Even though I was really good at football, I was too small to carry on. So I never continued with American football offside. And so I got out of soccer for a lot of years. As an adult, what got me back in was the 2006 World Cup. I was in college, and wow, great shot. Are you kidding me? That looked like it was going well wide, and then it skipped off the turf and somehow went in. Terrible defense. We are going to rip into the team here at halftime for a terrible first half performance. I have not seen this team play so poorly since our very first game. I finally will throw the water bottle. Oh, great. That only motivated 2 players. Well, that did not have the desired effect. They're down 2-0 and playing with 10 men. An absolutely atrocious half. And they didn't respond to the aggressive get your crap together. Hard to believe. Anyway, 2006 World Cup was absolutely phenomenal. Zinedine Zidane, who I knew nothing about before that World Cup, became the absolute villain for me with that ridiculous headbutt. And I can't believe he is still popular to this day. That being said, that's when I started following the sport again. Now, 2006, that's Manchester United in a nutshell. The world's best club by far. Most exciting club, especially English club. And, we have in 2006 anyway, the U.S. had such limited coverage of anything. We had MLS in its infancy still. The quality might be better these days. It's still not fantastic by any means. And back then it was atrocious. So, MLS didn't offer anything. Nice ball ahead, Sharples. Chance, nice chip. Oh, underside of the crossbar. How does that not slip in there? So unlucky. Go very attacking here. And let's see, where's my shouts? Oh, we got one, George White. All right, it's 2-1. No shout necessary. They figured it out. White, sub off. Where we have Fenton. Fenton's going to get a shot here. It's White who scored, but he is exhausted, so we're going to sub him out. Bridges also quite tired, but right back's going to have to stay put for now. Anyway, United was the only known quantity in 2006. They had the talent pool. They had the players, in and around this era. You had David Beckham, the only worldwide known player. Even if he was with the squad still at that point. I don't remember what his timeline was, but he was known as a Manchester United product. And then, of course, guys like Rooney stepping up at Ferguson. So that was all I knew. And so that was the team that I adopted as a fan, as a completely newbie to the sport back in 2006. Because when I was a kid, I played and I enjoyed. And I did an elite camp. And actually even got to be ball boy at a pro game, and there was international players, about 5 of them from the U.S. men's national team at the camp. I can't give you a single name, not one. I have no clue who was there. None. Because I didn't know the sport. I'd never seen a World Cup. My parents weren't into it. I played the sport. I enjoyed the sport, and I was really good at the sport. But I was surrounded by kids not my age, and so I had no culture of the sport surrounding me until 2006 World Cup. The 99 World Cup was pretty exciting, too, for the Women's World Cup. But that was all I had ever seen, and so I knew the women's slightly. But not the men's side of the sport. Following 2006, I educated myself. Long story short, just long story. But I adopted Man United first. And seeing them drop out of the Champions League this week, Solskjaer should be ashamed of himself and should be fired immediately. He's a legend of the team. And he's a great person, and I would love to see him be a part of Manchester United in some form. Assistant coach. Or just coaching staff. Head coach, though, he is just not there. Maybe another 10 years of experience as a head coach elsewhere, and he'll figure that out, but he drops the ball over and over again, and the team comes out into every game, every match this season, totally unprepared. And then they start to figure the game out, and they start to work their way into the game and sort it out themselves every match. And then they get better and better and better as the game goes on. But tactically, I watched the game in Spanish, by the way, so it was entirely on my own coaching instincts to determine what was going on and what was happening, because the game wasn't offered in English. But Tactically, against RB Leipzig, they were a nightmare, and even worse, the players on the pitch at the start of that game, for one, they had 3 fullbacks on. Made no sense what they were trying to do tactically. It was not working at all. And before the end of the game, all 3 of those fullbacks were subbed off. All 5 of their fullbacks in the first squad and the first team saw the pitch. That just didn't work. And Nemanja Matic might have been a good player in his 20s, but he has been one of the worst players in the Premier League in his 30s and the most overrated player on the United squad for a decade. The man needs to go. Really needs to go. And so does Solskjaer. Pochettino is available. Anyway, I'm Decathlon Gamer. We did not clinch the title by losing this game. This was not good. This was definitely not good. We struggled in this one. Of course, playing with 10 men certainly doesn't help. A straight red. And then a subsequent bonus foul. I don't know about that one that we got called for. Either way, though, we did get outplayed. We really did get outplayed today. I mean, 16-8 on the shots. That's the first time I've seen us get outplayed since the opener. Of course, we were missing half our squad. And that was the thing. We have some super players. And, if you haven't noticed, we replaced our 100 squad, our little core player of 4 guys that were over 100. We lost 3 of them at the beginning of the season. We've had 3 players develop and replace them. There's 4 players again, plus 100. But, of course, we had 8 quality players. We now have 5. We're developing a group behind them that are filling in and okay, but we suddenly lose 5 again. This team was not good enough. And this would be a problem, right? If we have a couple more players poached and we continue to not get quality youth intakes, we're not going to be good enough. We're not going to fly through the divisions. We're right on that edge of being good enough to the point where we can keep climbing, keep winning, or just being okay. And today's team was just okay. And playing with 10 men did enough that they weren't good enough. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time as we wrap up this season. We are going to win the title. We're going to get those players back. We're going to get the 1 win or 2 wins more that we need for this to happen. So I'm not worried about it. We will move up to that next division. I've got a new assistant coach and a new head of youth intake. They are much better than what we had. I'll show you that assistant coach next time. See you later. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.